Today I'm talking to Alexa, who has agreed to come on and talk about her story with back pain. And so I'll let her introduce herself. And I had the pleasure of working with her over the last few months. So why don't you start with just telling us your story and kind of where you started and where you are now, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm 31 years old, to kind of put reference of my body age and all that kind of stuff. And about 6 months ago, I got to the point to where it felt like my entire back had a metal rod straight down my spine. Like my spine was no longer made of little vertebrae, but just a metal rod. And then that went down into my hips, and my hips had the same thing. It felt like I had a noose around my hips, that I had no movement in my hips or my back. And as a mom of 2 little ones, that is just not acceptable. And so we lived up in Northern California, and I had been trying all kinds of different things, and just nothing was quite getting to the spot to keep there any permanent healing. I would have short-term relief, but then it would come back pretty immediately. And when I moved down to Orange County, it was really helpful because I went on Yelp and I was just like, whoever reaches out to me back first, there we go. That's what's meant to be. And so I was so lucky that Melanie reached out to me. And so, and so I placed a call, and within 20 minutes an email or whatever. And within 20 minutes, she was giving me a call, and it's been huge because I'm so used to everything being about longevity. I'm going to need to see you for the next year, 4 times a week, if you want any progress. And the approach was so different for me, because what happened was I went from feeling like I was not strong enough to be able to do something, that I wasn't empowered to of my own healing, to feeling very empowered, to feeling I am still very strong, I'm still very capable, and I can still be in control. And so I think so much of me being able to find that strength in other parts of my body to allow, taking the strength that I already have in other places to help kind of give relief to the other parts of my body that weren't working, was, I think, my biggest motivator to being able to allow those muscles and those areas rest and strength to grow, while simultaneously giving them a break, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great. So you're 31 and you've been dealing with back pain. Did you say for how long?
For about 6 months is
okay.
How long the full, like, kind of life-changing pain happened.
And what had you been told about your back and your body prior to that? Because it sounds like it wasn't empowering in the beginning.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would go places. I went to the doctor a number of times, and they just were like, I don't know. Your x-rays are fine. I mean, aside from having some arthritis in my pelvis, they were just like, we don't know why it's happening. You're healthy. You're fine. You shouldn't be having this problem. And I'm like, well, I'm 31 years old and I can't move my back from a complete vertical position in any way, shape, or form. And as someone who did yoga for 15 years, that's not normal. So no one knew. I mean, they referred me to go see a rheumatologist for possible RA. I mean, it's been a whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. And so you had said, one thing I remember is that you had tried exercise and working out with a trainer or in different groups or classes, and yet it would always like you would take a couple steps forward and then come back. So what was that like?
That part was really hard, because I was finally in a spot where I had my kids at an age where I could go and kind of find myself again. And I found a trainer in my town where I lived before, and it was fantastic. I was feeling so strong. And then about 6 months into it, I just realized, I'm like, okay, my soreness isn't sore anymore. We're talking, I can't bend over, I can't move, I can't pick up my kids. And I felt so frustrated, and I just kept going, well, I'm just sore. And I kept going and I kept going and I kept overdoing it. And I finally got to the point where I'm like, I can't do this, because it's not only just affecting my ability to work out in the gym, it's affecting the fact that I can't pick up my kids at home. I can't do chores. I can't move. I would sit on a heating pad for, 3 to 4 hours a day. It was wild.
Yeah. So you're working out now.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you doing? And then what do you think is the difference?
So I think what I'm doing now is I do Orange Theory mixed with I have a Peloton and a Peloton subscription, which I love doing that because I can do it at home. It's whenever I want to, which is fantastic. And what I've noticed the difference is that I'm conscious. It's this part of connecting my mind with my body that is, I think, the most important, because of you're teaching me like, hey, focus on these things. This isn't just a matter of just how quickly can I get this thing up. It's like, okay, how can I use my abs to support my back and then my legs to support my back? Like all these little things that realistically is what you should be doing anyways. But I think a hard part about for me after having kids is that I forgot how to use my abs because I had kids back to back. So was pregnant for pregnant and had kids for 4 years. 2 years, that's not right. 2 years straight. So I wasn't using those muscles. You just don't, you just let your belly hang out because it's big and adorable. And so I think I had forgotten how to even engage those muscles. And so I think with working out, so much of losing that and then finding that again is what's really made the difference of my back not feeling like it's falling and not secured.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was one of the symptoms that I remember you saying, was that it felt like it was, you described something like it was giving out or like it was going to fall through. Like,
felt like my whole back was just going to fall out. When I would lay down, it felt like my whole back was just going to pop right out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So can you describe a little bit of like, because we talked a lot about just pain and fear around that and like mindset around that and like what has shifted for you from before
Absolutely.
to now?
I think one of the things that's really hard is that I've never experienced chronic pain. I've had lots of injuries in my life as a person who did athletic stuff through my, whole growing up. I'm used to being hurt. I'm used to, spraining an ankle, whatever. When I experienced chronic pain and the mental part around that really dramatically altered my life, because I would feel a twinge of pain and immediately remember, oh no, now you're going to lose 3 days and you're going to be laying in bed because you can't move. And so there was so much involved when I would feel pain that was now becoming a mental block as well. And so a huge part of me being able to say, like, I can recognize pain, but I don't have to dwell on it and I don't have to focus on it, almost took away the power of the pain as well, because I wasn't obsessing. When I stopped obsessing, I lived my life and it was like, oh, that kind of hurt. All right, move on. And then it was like the less I focused on it, the less it held me, I guess.
Yeah. 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 There is a good saying that it says, and I'll probably butcher it, but something to the effect of like, the more attention you give pain, the better it gets at being pain. And so it's like when our focus and attention is constantly there, then it makes the world feel small, like that's where all of your energy go to try to, relieve or rest or protect. So you're doing, the other thing that I was going to ask was, we talked a lot about morning time pain and like feeling like you would hurt as soon as you got out of bed in the morning or tried to help the kids with breakfast and load the dishwasher, things like that.
That's been something that I think there's two parts of it. There's a part of it that is me finding that I have to take care of me. So even though there's needs and things around the house that have to get done, it's okay to be patient because it takes a little bit of time warming up. And so I've been waking up a little bit earlier to be able to spend some time allowing my body to wake up, allowing my muscles to get more moving before I'm jumping into the doing dishes and picking up kids and making breakfast and doing all this kind of stuff. And the more that I am giving that time, the less I'm even noticing the pain in the morning.
That's great.
Which is amazing. It was, it was terrible.
Right. Yeah. Cause it's waking up to young kids because they are toddlers still. Yeah. So, it's like waking up to hitting 0 to 60, right?
Absolutely. And they're early risers. So there is like, they've been up past few days, 5:30 in the morning. So I'm like up at 5:30, I'm up at 5:30 going, okay. So it's been great because by putting myself as a little more of a priority, it's crazy. I'm in a better mental state, which I'm not waking up going, oh, it's going to be a bad pain day. I'm going to have this. And then immediately going into all of the things I'm expecting to happen.
Yeah.
And it's not there anymore. So that's been huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it is really cool to see like how your story has gone from, you know, a real limiting factor of I can't do all these things I want to do to now you're like, I can do whatever I want. And even with, you know, dealing with months of back pain, that it's still entirely possible. So yeah, thanks for sharing that and for being willing to let me share it.
Yeah, of course. I think that it's really easy at like, especially my age, to feel like you shouldn't have pain. So you just deal with it. And then eventually it gets to the point where you can't deal with it anymore. And if you don't know where to go or what to do about it, it's really easy to have like one person just make you feel like you're being dramatic or you shouldn't be feeling what you're feeling. And so I think finding someone, whether it's obviously local, being able to find you or someone
Mhm.
somewhere else, finding someone who can hear what they're saying and understand, and then be
Mhm.
sympathetic and find the right treatment rather than just, I don't know, make you feel small, like you don't know what you're talking about.
Right, right. Yeah. And so that can happen whether people are saying, like you had said, I don't know what's wrong with you, right? Like they're not giving you any answers, also makes you feel like you're not really being heard or like you're making it up. Or if someone on the other hand can like really try to feel like they're pinpointing a diagnosis, but still making you feel broken, right?
Right.
That's not very empowering either. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I think that it's cool to see that we've been able to like help you feel more confident in your own body. So
Oh yeah.
that's the
Well, my
goal
family
always.
thank you a lot because my
Yes.
kids finally are getting their mom back. I just got to go to Disneyland yesterday and I spent
Oh, awesome.
like 6 hours walking and pushing a double stroller.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm not like laid out all day today, which is a
Yeah.
miracle. So
Yeah.
proof's in the
That's-
pudding.
Yes. Fantastic. Great. Thanks, Alexa.
Of course. Thank you.